You are very welcome. I am Ahonu, and this is my lovely Aingeal Rose. And we're fighting over the air conditioner right now. It's 101 degrees in Sedona, and we have an absolutely marvelous view of Bellrock and Courthouse Butte right now. And the reason we stopped here in particular is because not only do we live here, but there's so much talk these days about solar energy, solar flares and the magnetic pulse, electromagnetic pulses, and various things going on. And of course, this is one of the places where there is great earth energy, but we're talking about stuff coming from the sun. Now, there's a lot of negativity around all of this, but so also is there a number of people who are speaking positively about these kinds of events. And Aingeal Rose and I have been doing readings, Akashic record readings, and Aingeal Rose far longer than I, for many, many years, going on 40 years perhaps. And a lot of times the people are concerned about the future, but there was one thing that did come up in the Akashic records, and perhaps Aingeal Rose, you could say a word about it, where there was no predictions. Source didn't involve itself in predictions.
As in dates.
As in dates.
Yes, Source does not give dates for things. And the reason for that is because consciousness can change moment by moment, actually. So there's nothing that's absolute.
Yeah. And the reason why that's important and has come up for us today is because there's a number of people, so-called spiritual people too, who are making predictions about the future, and they're saying it's imminent. Now, we have heard this also for countless years, perhaps going back thousands of years, and the end of the world is nigh, and so on. But it seems to be somehow more pernicious now. It seems to be more dangerous now, in that we're aware now of our ability to be able to manifest outcomes. And therefore, if we're in fear of a future, we are in danger of manufacturing, creating that future based on fear. And that's what we want to talk about today.
So yes, as of late, and I mean this yesterday, today, we've been hearing people being concerned about climate things that could be going on and things from the sun in August, in the month of August. And of course, there was all this talk about make sure you're prepared and stay close by your family, don't travel, this sort of thing, which we recognize could have some truth to it. We're not saying that it won't happen. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's important to realize that we are at a point in history where it's about going back to our true selves and who we are powerfully as spiritual beings. And, when I hear these things, the voice inside me says, say no. Say no to these things. In other words, even if they're kind of projected into a timeline, say no. And I think we have to keep our wits about us and say no. That this is not the kind of world we want to live in. I don't think we have to go through this stuff in order to reach enlightenment. I think it's something that we need to take our power from.
Yes. Yeah.
And put it towards.
Yeah.
Because, I even pulled a card today while Ahonu was getting a lottery ticket. And I just quickly asked, what about August? And I pulled the Ace of Cups. And of course, that's not a negative card. It's a wonderfully loving card. And whenever I open the records and I ask Source about the planet, I always see this blue light of peace being shed over the planet. And I also see emerald green, which is a healing color. So that tells me that the spirits that are looking over this planet are really trying to blanket us in peace and healing. And I think that's what we need to stay focused on. It's time to release the past, stop doing things the way we have been, and focus more on the fact that we're in a loving universe and we have a loving source, and all it wants is for our good and the good of everybody, and it doesn't really involve itself with this sort of polarity that we're in. So us as creators need to stay clear. I mean, we can be aware of things that may happen, and I know we have some food stored and things like that, okay, that we got a long time ago.
Yeah, but that's also common sense. And this is a point I'm glad you brought up, Aingeal Rose. But before I speak about that, it reminded me when we were talking about Source not making predictions, and you said that you were pulling cards while I went in to buy a lottery ticket. You didn't happen to see in the cards whether we won or not, did you?
No. I wasn't even sure you'd be able to get a ticket because we were right up by the wire. Okay. Anyway.
I'm just joking about that. Yes, the idea of being prepared is always a good one. Here's where people need to be very clear. It's like you need to keep a foot in each camp. This is the way I feel about it. It's the way I describe it. In other words, that the foot on planet Earth in this 3D reality is saying, just like a farmer prepares for the winter and brings in the harvest, that is a sensible, common sense, good husbandry thing to do. And we should all be doing the same thing. And rather than depending on the shopping centre to supply us during the winter, it's good practice. And that is good sense. Now, the other side of it is, if we were doing that preparation out of fear that the springtime wasn't going to come, that's why we were gathering up stores, because we're afraid the spring won't arrive or that the sun won't rise in the morning or something like that. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a different way of thinking. So the foot in the spirit camp that I'm talking about here is be prepared, but at the same time, don't use your power to manufacture a negative outcome that suits this negative agenda. So that's really the message that we have today. One of the things, though, I want to talk to you about, Aingeal Rose, is that we notice more and more people are getting a lot of, I don't know what you'd call them on social media, likes and shares and all the rest of it, from who we would heretofore have regarded as being spiritually aware. But we find they're actually preaching a message of fear, and that's something to watch out for. The new earth is not based on fear and is not going to come into our realization out of fear. So it's very important to be clear about that. So do you want to say something about that?
Well, I want to say that Source always tells me that the new earth is here. It's already here. Like this place we're trying to get to is already here. It's just that we're not clear in our consciousness to be able to see it correctly. And I think that's what we need to remember. It's all about our consciousness. And just the fact that I'm looking right now at this beautiful Bell Rock, which is absolutely magnificent, and Courthouse Butte, which is magnificent, and they've been rumored to be under the ocean 5 times since they've been created. So, things are going to continue, and we could be in for some weird stuff. I won't say that we're not, but I think it's important to keep your head above the water and keep your head on what's happening now, and it really is about you evolving yourself. This is the time for personal evolution, and in order to do that, you have to say no to the stuff that's coming out there. Yeah. Say yes to the fact that a source is a source of love.
Yes, and because we're in a collective consciousness, the more people who are saying no to negativity and saying yes to this source love, then the more quickly we will realize it in our lives.
Yes, It's like manifest saying no to these things, these prophecies, and saying yes to the fact that it'll all go smoothly, we'll all get through this, and we'll soar through this.
Yes, indeed, okay. Yeah.
So keep your wits about you and keep your power about you as well. Okay.
Great advice. Okay, from Bell Rock and Courthouse Butte here in Sedona,
That's right.
blessings and bye for now.
Good night.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.